Hi everybody, so this is Youa, and as I requested, I'm gonna start doing a couple of videos that are requested, and this video is my first video, so we're gonna be talking about my nursing journey, and I do have my screen on with all my notes, so I'm gonna be going back and forth. So I started college in 2010 at Fresno State University doing my pre-nursing prerequisites. And then as I was working as a CNA, I learned that there's a such thing as a LVN, which is a licensed vocational nurse or licensed practical nurse. So I asked my coworker about this program because I was interested to become a nurse, but I didn't know that LVN was such a thing. And a lot of the nurses that told me that they went to Fresno Adult School, and there's also other programs in the Fresno Clovis area. So there's Fresno Adult School, Clovis Adult School, and I think Central Adult School, but don't quote me because I don't remember. And that was like 9 years ago. But yeah, I started my LVN prerequisites, and to be honest, I was still a full-time student at Fresno State University, and I was still doing the LVN prerequisite. And the reason why I'm able to do that is because the LVN prerequisite, it's made for people that are working and for adults that are working. So each prerequisite took me only like 2 or 3 months, and that is normal over there. It's like math, typical like medical terminology class. I did a computer course, kind of like the basic course for Microsoft, things like that. And then what other classes did I take? Of course, anatomy, physiology, but those are very, very basic course. It's not courses like the community college or, CSU colleges that you take that will apply to other nursing programs. These LVN prerequisites for Fresno Adult School and Clovis Adult School are very basic. So even if you want to apply to a real RN program at Fresno City or Fresno State or the other colleges, you're gonna have to retake these classes because the LVN prerequisites, they are very basic. So yeah, just make sure you go onto the website and look at what's required and what they're counted for, because that's gonna matter. So yeah, just be mindful of that. So there are a lot of requirements for you to apply for the LVN program, and I'm not going to name them all because you're going to have to do your own research, because it's been like almost 10 years ago. So a lot of these requirements may have changed, and yeah, just call the local school, check their website, talk with the advisor. It's going to be better for you. But the most important thing that I remember is that we have to take a test called the PNAT. I forgot what it stands for. You're gonna have to search it up, but it's a national exam that is like a pre-entry exam for you to take before you apply and get accepted to the LVN or LPN program. I don't know what is the minimum score that they need to take, and honestly, I do not remember my score personally, but I remember that English was my weakest subject, and so I was very worried. There were so many words that I don't even understand because it's a lot of vocabulary and it's a lot of like big words that they want to ask you what you think they mean, and it was so hard. So I remember that my English, I scored 30 out of like 100, and I'm not even kidding. Anyways, so I remember that English was my weakest subject, but the only reason why I was able to do so good in PNAT was because math and science was my strongest like subject. And so, and normally I do really, really good with math and science. I don't know why, but it's just embedded in my brain. So I took the PNAT. I was able to apply for the LVN program because that is their requirement. Oh, you know what? Before we jump onto the program, I will say that the reason why I went to Fresno Adult School instead of Clovis Adult School was because Fresno Adult School was going to take me 13 months, as opposed to Clovis Adult School, it was going to take me 2 years. And the reason why is because Fresno Adult School are 4 or 5 days a week. I don't remember, honestly. But Clovis was only 2 days a week. And for me, I rather finish quicker and become an LVN faster rather than having 2 years being in the program and still working as a CNA. And to me, working as a CNA was really backbreaking, and I did not want to work as a CNA anymore. So I decided to do the LVN program and become a nurse and have a comfortable wage while still going to school. I did the LVN program in 2014 to 2015. It was 4 to 5 days a week, but it was usually 2 days theory, 2 days clinicals. So it was really hard for me because I was still working full time. I was working full time 5 days a week, but then I jumped down to 4 days a week because it was getting too intensive. And so I was doing that, and I remember that I was going to work, and my coworker was like, "Youa, are you okay? What's wrong with you? Because you're not bubbly anymore, you're not laughing anymore, like you're not joking anymore, or whatever." And I'm just like, "I'm so sorry, I'm just so tired." I remember going to school at 6:30 or 7 in the morning. Like it was awful. Like being in the LVN program was so traumatic for me. I have to tell you guys, being in the LVN program is hard work. Reason why it's so hard is because you're going from not being in the nursing field or not even knowing anything about nursing, and you're jumping into nursing and becoming a nurse. It is the most awful thing ever. You're like so emotionally, mentally, physically drained all the time. It was so tiring. It was the hardest program I've ever done in my whole life. Not kidding. It was like more difficult than in the RN program or in the BSN program that I did. And so I just want to let you guys know, of course, if you want to do the LVN program or the LVN route, just know that it will be very hard. I know a lot of people that actually dropped out or didn't pass because it was too intensive. But anyways, 2015, I graduated, and then I took the NCLEX-PN, which is the NCLEX practical nurse. But of course, if you do the RN program, then it's called the NCLEX-RN. But I think the minimum of questions that you had to actually pass was 85. And so if you do really good or really bad, then the questions stop at 85, or it'll go up to like 200 or something. And I remember going to 85 questions. It kept on going. So I was so scared, and I was wondering, oh my God, like, does this mean that I failed? Because if you're doing really good, then it'll stop at 85. If you're doing really bad, it'll stop at 85. So I was really, really, really scared. But it continued on, and it finally stopped at 110. So there's a little trick. I forgot what it's called, but I remember that our classmate, we were all talking about it. Right after you take the NCLEX, if you try to re-register yourself, if it doesn't let you, that means that you passed. If it lets you register for a new exam, then that means that you failed. And so I rushed home after I took the NCLEX. I did the little trick, and it didn't let me register. So I was like, oh my God, like, I think I passed it. But of course, I didn't want to tell anybody. I was scared, and I didn't want to like say anything until I get my my letter saying that I passed. And of course, I don't know how many weeks after that, I got the letter, and it said that I passed. So in 2016, at the end of the year, I graduated in public health administration. And the reason why I didn't graduate with a nursing degree is because my GPA dropped when I was in college. And in order for me to not waste my time and, waste all the credits and all the classes that I've done at Fresno State, I decided to major in public health. So that's why I got my degree in public health instead of nursing. But of course, I still wanted to really go for RN, and I was trying to look at every single option for me to become a nurse. And of course, the only option for me, so like now, is for me to apply to a community college, which I was okay about, I didn't mind. But it would have been better if I just got my BSN at Fresno State University, but it wasn't the option for me. But in 2017, I continued and I finished the RN prerequisites. I took most of them at Clovis Community. I did 2 semesters only, and if I have a goal in mind, I usually do really good. I did microbiology and microbiology and anatomy, because anatomy is a prerequisite before you can take physiology. So I decided to do microbiology and anatomy together. And I did really good. I actually got A for both classes. Reason why was because I did every single extra credit I could. I took like extensive notes. I reviewed the textbook to the PowerPoints, go to all the classes. I don't even think I missed any classes, to tell you the truth, because I was just so like motivated to get into the RN program, because that's where I wanted to be and it pays really well. So I did 2 semesters. I finished all the prerequisites, and of course, before you can apply for the RN program, you have to pass the TEAS test. And the TEAS test is an assessment tool, and it will help, help the schools identify what, like, if you're going to be able to do the nursing program. So I'm going to be very honest. I did not study for the TEAS test until the morning of my exam. And I'm not bragging, but the reason why I was more confident was because I took a math refresher course, which is like a basic math class that is like, I don't think it's algebra, but it was like fraction, decimals, how to do like all the simple math that you will need to do in nursing, right? And of course, I had already finished microbiology, anatomy, physiology, and I did good in all those courses. So it was already in my mind. So on the morning of the TEAS test, I flipped through the beginning of the each subject. So I flipped through the beginning of math, the beginning of English, the beginning of like science, and I only review like a brief review of the courses. And then after that, I just looked through the questions real quick to see what kind of questions might be on the TEAS test. And I do have the TEAS 5 PDF format. If you guys want, just comment your email down below and then I will send it to you. It's basically a prep PDF book that you can look at. It will kind of like help prep you for the TEAS test. So yeah, I actually took 15 minutes during that morning just to look at the front of each subject. And then I went straight to, I think, Fresno City College, and I took the test. So every program, or usually most of the nursing program, require a 62 minimum for you to apply for the RN program, and I got a 90. Also, reason being is because math and science are my strongest subject, so I wasn't too worried about that. English was not really my strength, but I did okay. The TEAS test, surprisingly, it's actually way more easier than the PNAT. I'm not kidding. The PNAT and the LVN program was so hard compared to the TEAS in the RN program. So I got 90. I applied to College of Sequoias in Visalia, California. And I applied to Madera Community College in Madera. A lot of people asked if I was going to apply to Fresno City or West Hills, but I didn't want to. I don't want to apply to Fresno City College because I hate the parking over there. And I just wasn't into like having a large group of class where a whole bunch of students are basically cramped together. Reason why I'm saying that is because I heard that like the students from different cohorts are cramped together in one big class, and I didn't want to do that. I want to have an intimate cohort where you start together and you finish together. So that's why I was more determined to go to Madera and College of Sequoias rather than Fresno City. And I don't know anything about West Hills, so I didn't want to apply there. But anyways, I applied to those two schools and I got accepted to both schools. I got accepted to College of Sequoias first before Madera sent me a letter the following week saying that I got accepted too. But difference between those two schools, College of Sequoia, it's in Visalia. That's 45 minutes from where I live. And Madera is only 30 minutes away from where I lived. Madera was 12 students total, each cohort. So you'll start the cohort with 12 of the students, or basically 11 because you're the 12th student. But you're going to start together and finish together. And Madera was only 2 semesters, basically 2.5, because they start in the summer. So I think that's about 6 weeks. And then they will do the major fall and spring semester, and then they'll graduate. Whereas College of Sequoia, it's 3 semester, and it's basically, I think, fall, spring, and then fall. So that was too long for me. And knowing how I am, time is everything. And I didn't want to like stay too long in a program when I can finish quick and be gone. So Madera was only 13 months, whereas College of Sequoia was 3 full semesters. So 2018, I did the LVN to RN program at Madera Community College. I graduated in 2019. Like I said, it was 13 months total. And then, of course, after I graduated, I'm going to have to do the NCLEX-RN exam again. And for the NCLEX-RN, the minimum of question that you may stop is at 75. As compared to NCLEX-LVN, like I said before, it was 85. And the NCLEX-RN was so freaking easy, because I had already taken the NCLEX LVN before. So to me, it was so hard when I was doing the LVN. But now that I had already taken the NCLEX twice now, it was so much easier. And the only difference is that as an RN, you got to think a little bit more creative, a little bit more advanced. But because I was already an LVN, it was much easier for me to just do the NCLEX. So I did stop at 75 questions, and I already knew that I passed. There was no questions about it because it was so easy for me. But I got my NCLEX. I started working at the scale nursing that I was at. But I had applied for the intern permit, and the intern permit is basically a permit for people that had already taken their exam or graduated from their nursing program and wanted to start working with the intern permit. So there wasn't any requirement for you to get the intern permit, except you have to pay and apply. So I started working as an RN with the intern permit for 2 months until I got my test result and passed. And then I started working as an RN, like a licensed RN or registered nurse, basically. In 2019, I started my job at CRMC, which is a community regional medical center, as a clinical 1 nurse with my high school friend. So I started my first RN job over there, and then I did I worked there for 1 whole year, and then I decided to complete my BSN, which I was kind of mad at myself. How come I didn't start my BSN sooner? But I just remember that the reason why I didn't do it sooner was because I was in the middle of buying a house. So I wasn't worried about doing my BSN program at that time. But towards the end of 2020, I was gonna, I did apply, and I was going to start my BSN program at University of Texas of Arlington. But my coworker told me about Capella University, and it just sounded so good. Like, it just sounded too good to be true. But here's basically a breakdown of Capella University. And I would prefer you to YouTube Capella University because there's other people that talk more about Capella University more in depth than me. But it's basically, they have two options. One is the guided path and the other one is the flex path. So the guided path is like a traditional program where they set all the deadlines for you, and you have, I think, an instructor that goes through the courses with you. So I did the flex path, and the flex path is actually much faster for me, and that's the reason why I did it. It's $3,000 for every session that you complete. So each session is 12 weeks. It's self-paced and you do everything online. So I did the flex path at Capella University, and I only took 12 weeks to complete. And I know it sounds crazy, but I actually did in 12 weeks because I didn't want to pay for another $3,000. But I actually got everything covered by CRMC when I was still a working nurse over there. So each 12 weeks are $3,000. And at that time, it was COVID, and then they had a 30% discount for frontline healthcare workers. And of course, I am a frontline healthcare worker, so it was 30% off of that. So instead of paying $3,000, my bill was $2,800 for the 12-week section. But because my workplace, CRMC, was able to reimburse or pay $2,500 yearly for towards my education, that $2,300 was paid by my workplace, so I didn't pay for anything. So that was a really good thing about working at CRMC. Oh, another question that people have asked me before is, do you have to be a CNA in order to be a nurse? So the answer is yes, you have to be a CNA to become an LVN at Fresno or Clovis Adult School. That is one of their requirements. So I advise you to go look at the website, call them, talk with the advisor regarding the requirement to become an LVN. But in order to become an RN, no, you don't need to be a CNA, but it is recommended because being a CNA will help you gain that nursing perspective and that nursing knowledge to become a good nurse. So yeah, I'm going to conclude it here. If you have any questions or comments, just leave it down below. Or if you want me to do more videos talking about my nursing journey and specifically about the programs I went to, or just how my nursing experience is when I became a CNA or an LVN or RN, then just let me know. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Just let me know if you have any other questions. Thank you so much.